Okay, Mario, once again, and this is going to be on the wiring diagram for these brushless controllers. These are 350 watt controllers, 36 to 48 volt operation. Um, I repurposed these from my original go-kart that I did with telescopic perforated tubing, and this is the latest one. Check out my 14-part series of videos that I did from start to finish on this one. This is a very nice go-kart, a very sweet ride, but all the spaghetti right here is has to be done, to in order to. I kind of did this as a sort of a preliminary test, just to make sure my connections are to where they're supposed to go. I'm going to be cleaning this up. I have this cover here. This made out of ABS. I just bent this last night, and so this is going to be the cover. It's going to house both of these controllers, and all the wiring is going to be kind of hidden there. I still have to make some openings here for some connectors that I'm going to be installing them. But basically the circuit diagram is as follows. Here's my brushless controller here, which is basically the speed control, these guys right here, and all the wiring. I set it up this way right here. It's color coded. So all the connections that come out of the ESC are here, including the connections to the motor, Hall sensor, and then your three-phase connections here. They're all color coded too, just for my sake, to make it easier um, to identify these things and see what I did here, because it can get very confusing if you don't have some kind of a map or schematic. And this is going to be done on my computer. I'm going to clean this up, make it a little bit smaller so that I can have maybe half the size of this. It'll be done, cleaned up on the computer, and then I can laminate that, and then that'll go underneath my seat here so that I can have a reference in case I need to trace something in the future. Well, basically my Ryobi batteries, which are those right there, they're in series, and they have individual fuses, but I just put one fuse here. The fuse should be actually on the positive side, but as long as the fuse is in line with this path right here, that is okay. So I have my connections here. This is coming out to a Y connector. It's going to feed my 48 volts to the brushes controllers. And by the way, these controllers are going to be done basically the same thing here, but in parallel. So all these connections will be in parallel. So there's only one set of connectors that goes to my cover here. But basically, the 36 to 48 volt, which are the two Ryobi batteries in series, are going to go to the controller via this white cable, and then the other side of that white cable is going to connect to a DC to DC converter, which is that little box that's on the floor right now. And that's going to convert from 48 volts to 12 volts that I need for my lights here. My lights operate at 12 volts, and that's why I need to convert that. I don't know if these controllers have internal voltage regulators for 12 volts. They do have a 5-volt output on one of these connectors, but I didn't see any 12, so I really don't want to take it apart. So I'm just going to make that connection, as I said, with this Y connector, to feed the 48 volt to the DC to DC converter. That's going to feed 12 volts to this. It's going to feed 12 volts to this main switch right here, which is this switch right here, and the bottom one right here, which is actually my green one, which is sitting right here. No, where's that green one? Which is sitting right there. It's going to be for my lights. So anytime I turn those on, you can see the lights coming on here. And so that's my switch for my lights. And then the rear ones, they're low intensity at the way I have these connected, the way they should be. And the only time they go high intensity is when you switch the third lead of these tail lights, which is the red one, when you switch that to 12 volts. So that's what I'm showing right here in my lights. Actually, let me go back here. So that's going to feed power to my main power here, to my power panel here. That's going to feed 12 volts. When this is on, it's going to feed voltage to this green light here, or green switch, which is these have all these internal and LEDs, and this is why I need the 12 volts here. That's why I have these as lights, you know, with the kind of designation there. This one gets a voltage from this one when it's turned on, and then that in turn, when that's turned on at night, it's going to turn on my, it's going to feed 12 volts to my low intensity rear lights, like I just showed, and it's going to feed 12 volts, you know, to the main headlights. Headlights, tail lights are both going to come on when I switch that on. The only time that these are going to go high intensity is when the brake, this brake switch is applied. Now I could not do that with one switch here, because that brake is actually operates on the low on the low side via the throttle control, and on the high side, you know, it's just too, the voltage is just too high for the operation of these lights, and I don't want to risk burning anything. So I decided to just include a secondary switch, which is going to have to be triggered at the same time that this is triggered. You know, this could very well be double pole, double throw, or the double pole, single throw switch. I could replace that with my brake, but this is already on the brake and it's in line, you know, with the brake. So I'm just going to mechanically install just a little lever switch. So when this, you know, is activated, it also turns this on to activate the brake lights, and that's what the purpose of that is. That is the brake. Actually, it's going to activate the braking on the motor, but this is going to activate the lights. You know, the high intensity. You know, just basically running. What you're basically doing is you're connecting the red lines of these lights, which are also done. This is all done in parallel to feed 12 volts to each one of these independently. So it's done in parallel. The red lead needs to be connected to the battery, you know, to the 12 volts in order to get these to turn on high intensity. So that's what that's there for. Boy, I can't believe this is really simple the way you know, it looks right now from all the mess that I had before. Maybe I was overthinking, you know, on some of these things. How I was going to, I wanted them to do. Actually, I wanted all these switches to light up, you know, anytime you click on something. But for cruise control, you really don't need to. You just a toggle switch, you know, that gets all these the cruise, the reverse, both the cruise and the reverse get. Cruise and reverse, you know, they're just they're just these white light white wires or signals that get grounded, you know. So in order to activate those, you know, you have to ground those. That's what the black is there for. And so that's all that's doing, is just providing a, you know, a switch on to ground, you know, to ground these, you know, to turn on the reverse or the cruise, and these have to be temporary switches because they're not latching. You know, you just have to click out one time, and then, you know, it's just a logic signal that gets grounded. You know, once you do that one time, it reverses. You do it again, it makes it in forward. Same thing with the cruise control, is you have to, you know, toggle it. Logic, you know, goes to ground. Boom, it sets the cruise control. You do it again, and it releases it. Cruise control is released via the switch here. I can deactivate it via this cruise control switch, or I can deactivate it via the brake. If I hit the brake, it'll turn off cruise control, or if I hit the throttle, you know, just work the throttle from the cruise control, it'll release it. So that's how that works. But basically, this is my diagram. Very simple, you know, to all this spaghetti that you see here. So I'm about to clean this up and finally get this finalized. I am waiting for some connectors here to make the connections on this cover like that, you know, so it's nice and clean. You can see how all these connectors are going to connect right there. So all the wires are kind of hidden. And if I need to service this, all I have to do is just take this whole unit out. You know, it'll have all the wiring and all the ESCs right in there. You know, I can take this whole thing out from the cart, and that way I don't have to, you know, deal with all this spaghetti that you see here. So that's where I'm at right now. Next video, I'll probably have this cleaned up and ready to run again. Fully assembled and fully connected. Mario once again with my microfight. Stay tuned for the continuation of this video, which I thought I was done, but I still have a little more work to do here with the electronics. So it's quite a project, because when you get involved in something like this from scratch, you have to for me, I wasn't thinking, how complex this is going to be. I just dove in, I started building the cart, from, with the idea that, you want something want something fun that you can ride and, just around and just have a little fun with it. And then from there, it grew into, on how I need headlights, now I need mirrors, now I need, even brakes. I didn't require brakes here because, I was braking with my feet, kind of like that. Just kill the power here. I mean, it still goes, but you can still brake with your feet. But I decided just for additional safety to just put a brake here. And that's the reason for this bar also being a bar instead of just a, like a steering wheel. It's just so that I could mount all these things, just like you do on a bike. And all these things already came with with this comes with a meter, and there are some controllers also that have horns, and they have directional lights, so a little more elaborate. But this is what I had, and this is what I'm using here. My Ryobi batteries, they're just sitting on this tray right here, and this gets strapped, when I'm riding this. So right now I just have a Velcro strap that I strap these with, but I'm going to do this a little bit better so that it's a little more solid, my strap there, instead of just a Velcro strip. So yeah, a project like this can really, if you see something like this in the way that it is right now, and it's kind of messy here because I've been working nonstop. It can be very overwhelming, and you say, "Oh my God, that's crazy," But you take these things. It just looks messy, and it just looks like a bunch of a lot of overwhelming stuff. But if you break it down in the mechanical assembly, I should do that in another video. Break it down in the way it should be done. The way I do my models. My radio control ultralights that I sell. These kits. I break it down in the instructions. In a logical and in a logical and what's the word that I'm trying to use? Concise and step by step way, and you break it down. You break the mechanical components first, and then then you do the electronics, the radio control stuff. So because otherwise it can get very overwhelming. If you just throw everything at the same time. If I were to show you this, you'd probably think it's, oh my God, this is crazy. But the schematic, that's the reason for the schematic is once this is done and this is cleaned up, then things get to be a little more less intimidating from that perspective. So I hope this doesn't scare anybody with all this craziness here. But this is what has to be done. When you get into projects like this and understanding a little bit of electronics and connections and mechanics. Shop skills. All that comes really handy. And for anybody that's watching this that may be new to the hobby or new to these things, maybe some young people, I do recommend that. I don't know if they still have a shop in schools, because back in my day we still have not only shop but home economics, where you learn things. You learn how to build things. You learn how to do things. You learn how things work. For young people, it's very important, in my opinion, to get your hands on. And so as far as the kids in my family, my son, my nephews, friends of them, anytime that they come here, my intent is to, check this out, not so much to show. I mean, I can do this, blindly. That's no fun, but it's my point is to show kids, so they can learn, so it sometimes, they can if they want to do this, they can do this, and with some information. Although pretty much everything's on the internet. You can find out a lot of stuff on the internet. Videos like this that I like to explain things and how these things are done. So that not so much for my sake, but for posterity, for the future. Maybe somebody at some point may may stumble on my videos and may find them interesting. There are so many videos out there with people that do they work on stuff like this that are really really good. I mean, I don't really. My intention is not to get thousands, millions of views. I just do it. It's sort of a diary. The way I make my videos. I do these things on a daily basis, and some people may think, oh, this guy's he's just talking and doing videos, and nobody listens to him. Perhaps I do get some views, but like I said, I'm not crazy about views. I don't make money out of views, and my intent is not to make money out of views. Never was. I just don't. That's not how I operate. So this is more of a diary of the stuff that I've been doing. So when I'm not here, at least it can serve somebody. Somebody can say, "Hey, check this thing out that was made by Mario from MMI Microflight." So I don't just get onto stuff like that. This I have to finish as well. These ultralights. It's a beautiful ultralight that I have here, quarter scale, that my mind was here and then it shifted to this stuff. I wanted something like this. I wanted to have a little fun with this, but my mind will go back to my ultralight, finish that, and in the process too, I do have some orders that I need to complete, because people still find me. So somehow, I don't advertise. I'm basically retired, but a lot of people like these ultralights that I make, and so word of mouth it keeps me busy, and keeps me occupied. When I'm not doing that in projects like this. So anyway, this is where I'm at right here. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Make a comment. I don't get comments from people. I don't know what's wrong with people. They don't like to comment. I too don't have the time a lot of times when I watch other people's videos, but at least I say something. I say, hey, pretty cool. Keep going. So something that builds inspiration. My inspiration is just fun stuff. I just like doing fun things. And like I said, this is more of a diary, but it would be nice, to have some noise, from somebody else other than myself. Anyway, Mario with my Market Flight. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching.